My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat.
Pull a gun on me again and dead meat.
Dead meat! You might actually beat me. You really think so? Hell no! You're dead meat.
Hello, and welcome to... Oh my God, my voice has already left me.
You want me to do it for you?
Oh my God, I can't. Yeah, just introduce the show. I can't.
Hello, and welcome to What We Play in the Shadows. I am not your host, Ben Bellevue, and I am joined by your host who can't speak right now, Zoran Gavoyich.
That's me.
That's you, buddy.
Just so everybody knows, of course, we're just at Summer Game Fest, and I've caught a bit of the con fatigue, con flu thing that has affected my voice. So apologies for that, but I will sound like a pimply-faced teen for the rest of this episode. But yes, as you may have also noticed, that Gina DeVivo is not with us this episode. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, because Gina is a delightful ray of sunshine any place that she goes. Sure. So Ben and I are going to be talking all about everything we got to play and see at Summer Game Fest. Game Fest, not Games Fest.
Which I will get wrong, I think, for the rest
I
of
will
my
probably
life.
get it wrong too, because I'm like, there's games.
Yeah.
There's many games.
I feel like Summer Games Fest just mentally makes more sense to me.
I think so.
But whatever Jeffrey Keighley wants.
It's a thing that now, started in 2020 and replaced E3, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, E3 went away. And
it's a weird vibe of like E3 was an industry showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never been, but from my knowledge of like being a little nerd growing up watching the showcases and watching the IGN lives,
yes.
Like E3 was a big show with like a ton of people.
Yeah.
And, Sony and Nintendo and Xbox all having big, elaborate showcases. And now it's been pared down into this. I think it kind of feels more like internet forward.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways where they recognize like Sony and Nintendo and Xbox don't feel like they need to spend the money to go rent out an entire auditorium. They're like, we can just do this. And then Jeff Keighley has kind of filled that space of like, okay, we'll have one big showcase and people can buy tickets for that, so you can get those fans who always wanted to go to E3. Like little nerdy 15-year-old Ben, they can watch the showcases which is how we started. We went to the Summer Game Fest showcase.
Yeah, which basically is
Dolby Theater.
The Dolby Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and it is basically a 2-hour trailer showcase.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour trailer showcase.
It is 2 hours of watching trailers,
which I kind of respect. Like I do respect, because like
that's what E3 was for. It was like, we want
yes.
the announcements, we want to know the
100%.
games, and they do a good job of kind of curating like what's gonna just like, oh, get the audience reaction and things like that.
Like when I've gone to the Game Awards, that is also a big trailer showcase in a lot of ways, and that's one where I get frustrated, where I'm like, I want to see the awards, I want to see people speak. In this case, I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm here
Cool.
for the trailers. And yeah, we could, obviously, it was all live streamed as well, so we could be back at our places watching it live stream.
We could be sitting right here.
I will say it was very energizing to be there when certain titles were announced.
Mm-hmm. Hearing the fans reaction.
And my own reaction erupting from me and not realizing, as I don't normally react a ton in large settings like that, but I was like, I'm so fucking excited for this.
I don't know if I feel like a burning need to go back to the showcase itself in the future, but I did really enjoy being with you for the showcase. So I'm like
emanated off of him.
even if we're not in a theater next time, I'm gonna be making you sit with me.
Okay, I will just sit next to him.
We'll live stream it.
Yes! Fine, happily. But yeah, let's dive into Summer Game Fest. Let's start with some of the trailers that we saw, and then when we go to one that we actually like played or saw during the show, we'll kind of go off and talk about that, and then we'll come back and kind of see what it is. But the show started with a door. It was a first-person door. And if you know any game that starts with a door or has a lot of doors in it, I didn't clock it at first, but it took me a second. There was this nice French woman that answered the door and says, "Oh, you're here to see your brother. Come on upstairs."
You clocked it pretty fast, though.
I did. I was like,
I
okay,
leaned over to you and I was like,
feels-
I bet this is a vampire game, and I was wrong.
Oh no, you thought it was like Masquerade or something like something in that vein, and I was like, no, this feels very familiar. And then they go up to this room, and the woman says, "Oh my goodness, it's such a mess. It's like a boulder rolled through here." And I went, Resident Evil, that's Chris boulder punching. Oh my God.
It's like a boulder rolled through here.
And I at first thought it was the DLC, because they said there's a story DLC coming for Requiem. But turns out It was Resident Evil Veronica minus the code. So they remaking Code Veronica. I've said this many times on the channel. That is my Resident Evil Dreamcast love. That's one of my favorites. Again, I have not played it since it was released in 2000. So it might not still be my favorite, but I'm so glad it's getting a remake. Of all the things that needed a remake, well, it deserves one.
And we talked about this in Damage Report, our news show. I always assumed Resident Evil Code Veronica, for some reason, just like that name made it sound like a secondary game, I guess is the term I'll use, like not a full scale release that is the same length and like breadth of a main Resident Evil game.
Oh, it's long.
But it is, yeah.
It should be a mainline entry. It's not, I believe, considered a mainline because it went from 4 to 5, and then Code Veronica was its own thing before 4 was even its thing. So it is still a side game, but it is a robust side game that definitely moves the story forward.
Yeah.
They showed us all in first person to start, and then we got to see Claire and her new character model, which the internet right now, of course, is going like, oh, her character model looks different than she did in Resident Evil 2. I'm like, well, the technology increased, and they're like, she's 19 in this picture, she's 19 in this picture. Oh, she's aged. I'm like, well, she did go through a zombie apocalypse in a few months, and like there was so much that happened to her. I'm like, yeah, maybe you aged a little quickly in that. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
I think she looks great. I love her outfit. I'm on board. I just want them to keep the one opening cutscene moment that was so badass for me watching that as I first played it, where she's cornered by a bunch of guards. She's holding a gun in her hand and she's like giving up and she drops the gun. It falls to the floor in slow motion. Then she falls, grabs it and fires it at a flammable container behind it. Boom, explosion. Resident Evil Code Veronica. I'm like, I'm on board for whatever this is. This is what I want.
That's very Mission Impossible 2, the glasses throw explosion to me.
Please don't ruin it by comparing it to Mission Impossible 2,
cool...
my least favorite Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it's the worst Mission Impossible, but that's a badass opening.
Yeah, all
right. It's a cool opening, and then the rest of it is boring and bad.
Okay, that's what opened the show.
Yeah.
So for me, I was done with Summer Game Fest after that moment. So I was like, all right, that's what I wanted. I thought it was going to be the end of the show, but nope. We dive right into what was the next horror thing I think that we saw.
I think after that it was Alien Isolation right after that.
Oh yeah, it was pretty close to that. Okay, so
which is the first thing we saw, the first horror thing we saw at the showcase that we were going to be able to see at SGF, and the last thing we saw at SGF. So kind of a little bookend there for us.
Yeah, Resident Evil started, and then Alien Isolation, which they then truncated to AI2, which maybe not the best in today's.
Are we reclaiming it?
Alien Isolation's reclaiming it now.
Yeah,
generative Alien Isolation is what we're now yelling at on the internet for creating all this Alien Isolation slop.
Yeah.
All right. Reclaim it then.
It's the Xenomorph's
I'm excited for it because it looked gorgeous from the trailer.
It looks beautiful.
It starts with outdoor environments. And
that's what we got to do first.
Yeah. So we actually got to play it. We went to the Sega area, which they gave us a number, and then they put us down into the stairs.
And what were the numbers they gave us, Zoran?
The number 6 and the number that comes after 6. Here's a picture of it. Do it yourself.
Podcast people listening to it. I think you know what number comes after 6.
I think you know what number. Anyway, I forced Ben to take a picture of it.
You did.
He says, you bastard.
And I do feel like in that photo, because we posted it, I feel like a lot of people looked at that photo and went, oh, Ben has forced Zoran to do this.
No, it was me forcing Ben. But no, we went to this little darkened area, and normally they would do a presentation and kind of tell you all about it and everything like that. They did not. They basically just said, all right, go into your pod. You've got this demo. Averages about 20 minutes.
Which is, I don't think true.
No.
No. I think that demo averages 20 minutes if you maybe know the game and not just like no Alien Isolation, but like no Alien Isolation. Like I feel like that is their count from like their internal team playtesting it to a degree.
Yeah.
Because before we did it, we were talking to a friend of the show, Bailey Myers, who said she got it done in like 45 minutes and that there were other people who didn't even get it done. I was one of those. So
Larry, the cable guy, would be so mad at you.
I'm like, I feel like 40 minutes. I playing through that, even just like
it definitely took me a while.
And it takes a while just to get to the xenomorph itself. I'm like, to finish that demo in 20, you basically have to finish like the stealth section in 5, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not die.
Which you have to do it clean.
I died a lot.
I'm so infuriated that I didn't finish it, because I was a hair breadths away from finishing it without dying at all. And that would have been so much cooler to come into this podcast saying. I would have felt so cool being like, yeah, I've never played Alien Isolation, but I finished that run, no deaths. But instead, you
died and then didn't get to finish it.
Yeah, because the way it works is like you have the section that is the opening of it is like you are Blake, I believe her name was.
You're Blake. Not Lively, not Ripley.
Not Ripley.
Ripley gives a little recap of the first game about the Sevastopol, how she had to blow it up and then
It
shove
crashed
the
into like
xenomorph out of the airlock, like you do. And then you're on this planet. And this was my favorite part of the demo, was just being on this planet. The ambiance, the thunder, lightning storm,
it was really good rain effects.
It is gorgeous. It sounded great. And you're just going around. And then, of course, you find a piece of what we assume is the Sevastopol, and is confirmed once we get inside. Yeah. But then the one guy is like, I don't want any part of this. And the other guy's like, there could be some salvage in here. Let's get us some salvage. Wee-hoo! That's apparently all Weyland-Yutani employees are prospectors.
Which, to be clear, is a voice you're giving him.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm giving him that voice.
He does not sound like that.
He does not sound like that. But they're all just like, I want claim on the salvage in there. I got to get that salvage.
Yeah, they live in a capitalist hellscape, Zoran.
It's all about that.
They're
salvage,
poor.
But then Blake's like, no, we got to find survivors. So going in to find survivors. The only survivor we find is half an android, which gave you a pretty good jump scare.
It gave me a pretty good jump scare because like the xenomorph arriving is pretty telegraphed. And then like the jump scares of like getting killed by it didn't really feel like that was more of a frustration reaction for me. Like a failure reaction than it was a like I'm afraid. That android or synth or whatever they're called scared the crap out of me a little bit. It was freaky looking. It was like dilapidated. Its guts were coming out. It's robo guts.
Yeah, and then it dumped a little exposition on you too, aside from it guts, which is like Sevastopol evacuation complete. Blah. But yeah, speaking of the frustration, I died so many times, and they were filming us too. They had a little camera filming us. I literally just had to like flip off the camera at one point because I left right out from under a table and just had a thing through my chest. Because the alien is very loud. It's thumping everywhere.
I struggle to tell where that thump was coming from.
I don't know if it was the headphones or whatnot, but the spatial awareness was a little hard because the thumping was so loud that I'm like, I don't know if he's above me, below. Like, is he an event? Where is he?
And it's an interesting setting because, again, I have not played Alien Isolation 1, but I've seen like your playthrough a little bit. The first one is just a ship in space, right? So it is like a functioning ship in the vacuum of space, whereas this part, at least, is like a broken down, crashed ship in a river with the water rising, so it's resettling constantly. So you're hearing like the entire ship creak and groan, and that masks out the sound of the alien stomping around at times. So there are times where I'm like starting to walk, and then it does that, and I'm just like, I'm going back to my hiding spot. I had a little nook. There's like a little nook with
I
like
thought
a
I
red.
was safe because I found the vent that you could kind of jump into and climb around and everything. There's like a little pool of water as the water's rising up, and suddenly I hear it. I'm like, oh, it must be above me or anything, because I might be misremembering, but in the first game, I didn't think it could go in the vents with you. But sure enough, right behind me, claw in the face, just...
I had the same experience where I was like in the vents, and I specifically was in the vents. I saw it above me because there's like slats in it. And I remember being like, and I'd been in the vents a few times at that point, and I'd been in the vents near it a few times, and I kept expecting it to be able to get in there. And then but like it hadn't. So at this point I was like, maybe I'm being overly cautious. Maybe like it can't get in here. And I like got a little bit more bold.
Oh, you're a little
and then
cocky,
immediately I heard a vent open and looked behind me, and it was crawling through.
Yeah.
And
crawling through the vent is horrifying.
And I think it was horrifying. That was the
Mm-hmm.
scariest of the entire time. Like my heart was in my fucking chest, or no, my heart was in my throat.
They did a really good job.
They did a really good job with tension, but I also think that's what got me killed, because I saw it, turned, opened the vent, ran back to my hiding spot, and survived. And I was like, okay, I can seemingly run from this thing if I'm quick enough. And what got me killed was I did everything right. I got to the end. There's like maybe 20 feet between me and the ladder I need to climb out to be done to escape. The alien is there, and it's like behind me. The ladder's in front of me. It hasn't seen me yet, but I'm like, I I don't move that fast when I'm crouched, as I'm sure you were also like, you move pretty slow when you're crouched.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I dislike stealth a lot in games is because I'm just like moving through molasses.
Yeah.
And then if I die and have to do it again, I'm like, this is just taking longer
Yeah.
than I want to spend right now.
It's almost it makes it worse to a degree being observed, like knowing there's a person behind you watching you while you're doing this. And then also
Sorry
like,
about that. I just really wanted to watch you.
it's okay. Like I don't mind you watching me. I mind
Well,
you
you
watching
do if
my
you're
failure.
sleeping.
No.
Okay. Well, that's new.
But yeah, I ran for it because I was just like, okay, I'm like really close. The alien's a bit of a distance from me. I think I can make it. And my hand hit the ladder, and then the alien hit me.
Hit you.
And I heard like a woman, one of the employees, I think, was behind keeping an eye on us. And I just heard like a gasp because I think she was like, holy shit, this guy's
He's gonna do it in
one run. And then I didn't. And then I got all the way back to near that ladder, and I decided to be stealthier the second time.
Yeah.
And then I was like going slow, and the alien just turned around and like decided to go the opposite direction of the way it was going, and then looked right at me, and I went, well, now I have to run. And I did, and I failed again. And that was my experience. What was your experience?
I would say that's the AI 2 stands for the definitely upgraded artificial intelligence of the alien too, because that was the big thing of it. They again made the first game in 2014, Creative Assembly,
which is crazy,
and they're back, and that game still looks fantastic.
It looks fantastic.
And this game looked fantastic.
From what I've heard, it's a very impressive AI for 2014. Yeah.
And so now
AI not being generative AI, those are different things. Video games have had AI,
which is okay
since the 90s.
In certain things. It's the generative AI that they're
very
not a fan
different.
of.
It's just like they're different things.
Yeah. And you need an AI you need this thing to be intelligent, to be able to sense where you are and change it each time. Because every time I died, it was a new location, a new thing that I was trying and different, whatever it was. But
it sounds like you were more daring than I was, because I was playing it so safe. There really wasn't opportunity for me to get killed more than
I spent 20 minutes under my little shelf and then I didn't leave. I was like, no, I need to get the salvage and I need to get to this door. So I'm like, I know what I need. I know that it's here. Go to this, get this. But
were you having to get a lot of the salvage while the xenomorph was moving around?
I mean, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you find like a big treasure trove beforehand? And you're like,
no,
I was rich. I don't know. I opened up the doors.
No, genuinely kind of. Because like my process of getting to, because like this is kind of a spoiler for the game if you like don't want to be spoiled on the actual
prologue
I'm just
scene
saying
that I'm pretty sure we played.
No, I know. I'm just saying if you don't want to know, this is a bit of a spoiler for like the prologue. You get into the ship and you have to get to the center like computer console and turn on the computer console.
Yeah.
And in the process of me getting to that computer console, I found almost all the salvage. So all I needed to do was go turn off the fire and then get back out each time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really want them to do something more, that if it does just become we're back in parts of the ship or the same kind of corridor stuff, I might get a little tired of it. I will say in the first game, I did get a little tired of it because there's a lot of backtracking and there's so many dead, stupid synth bodies everywhere that I have to count.
I feel like
it's just my own personal anger.
I feel like it won't do that because I feel like
I want to be outside in the thunder lightning storm and I want to be hunted by it outside.
I feel like it'd be crazy to build the outside and not have us be in that. And I assume from a game design level, they're thinking about you are used to playing it inside.
Yes.
We're going to refresh your memory with a setting that is similar. And then from that point on, it's unleashing it into the outside world.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how most likely Ripley's probably going to come back in there. The daughter, Amanda Ripley, not Ellen Ripley.
Yep.
So yeah, on board for that. So then after that, you were taking notes during the trailers. What else? What was the next horror trailer?
I was kind of just taking notes. Like the point of my reasoning for taking notes during it was I was trying to keep track of again, Damage Report, youtube.com, Dead Meat Games.
Whatever that thing says.
For Damage Report, I was just trying to keep track of like, what horror games am I seeing to make it faster for me to put them into our like list of news. End of Abyss. There was a trailer for End of Abyss, which is a game that we ended up getting to play. A top-down shooter, kind of like going.
It's like a twin stick.
Yeah,
I think, where you're aiming with the one stick while you're moving with the other stick, and you have like your little laser line and everything like that. Visually, very interesting.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
It's very like underwater kind of. I know there's something that it reminds me of, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is by name at the moment.
Well, there's a lot of similarities in things. Like the look of the character is in the big diving kind of helmet. It's in Chronos. It's a similar look, at just big dome fishbowl head. And then the enemies are very kind of Last of Us.
Yeah,
very fungal.
Like it still wakes the deep, I guess, kind of.
Okay. I still haven't played that one.
Neither have I. There's an oceanness to it.
There's an ocean.
There's an ocean.
Well,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
abyss. It's the end of
Yeah,
it's the end of the abyss.
I think you're in like an underground like facility.
Yeah, we didn't get a
an underwater
presentation for this one.
facility.
We literally just walked over and there was no one at the TV.
Yeah.
So Ben and I just took turns playing.
I'm bullshitting my way through understanding what this game is, but I'm like almost positive you're in an underwater like kind of facility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lack of a little punch to the guns.
They were
and
quite.
the aiming was a little hard.
The aiming was a little hard. Is like a major critique I had for it.
Yeah.
Where I'm like I've played games for a long time. I've played games like this before.
Yeah.
It's admittedly been a little while since I've played this type of like top-down twin stick shooter, so maybe I'm just off.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd be that off. I don't know. I kind of liked that. I felt underpowered with the enemies.
That's fair.
Like, I did a lot of-
That's what causes the survival horror, the horror nature
Yeah.
of it is that, I better make my bullets count or anything. It's not, Leon with his Requiem just blowing up endless amounts of zombies.
And like the shotgun did better damage. It would just
That's true. You got the shotgun. I did not get the shotgun.
Yeah, it just also had very few bullets. So I was like, at
Yeah.
a certain point, I was like,
It's fun. It had a bunch of lasers coming off of it, like
Mm-hmm.
for your aiming for is like, here's the spread. So you can kind of see the spread of where the weapon's going to hit. So I'm interested to see what the story is for that. That's what's probably going to pull me into that.
Yeah.
More so. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the End of Abyss.
End of Abyss.
Great.
It's releasing October 1st.
Oh, wow. That's this year. Great.
It's this year. It's the tail end of the September. I don't know if you've seen this. September is hell.
Oh, well, it's because everything, November is Grand Theft Auto 6?
Yep, everything's trying to avoid Grand Theft Auto 6.
I think I literally saw just a meme of someone be like, why don't you release our game? And it's just a whiteboard with every game ever in September, and then just November is Grand Theft Auto 6 and nothing. Like, September. Yeah, just put it in September.
The next one that we saw 1666 Amsterdam, which we talked about a little bit in Damage Report as well. The kind of like Assassin's Creed, but witch cult stuff.
Yes.
Which I'm excited for. I love a good witch story.
I went and I played the demo because they released a prologue demo of the game. And I said, I'm going to do that as soon as I go home. Yeah, anything on Steam. It's very interesting. You start out as this witch going to this ritual. You light some fires. And then you have to pick your cat in a tree. And each cat is a different personality of things. And it wasn't explained. But I think that might be like your class picking is like what cat you've decided to go with.
That's fun.
And the cat jumps at you, freeze frames, flash forward to this woman in a library who has this note with all this weird, crazy writing on it. And you have to do this little quest in the library to decipher it, finding all these books and going to a card catalog in the Dewey Decimal System. What everybody wants in a game is to figure out how to do a Dewey Decimal System. But then the note is from your dad. It's fucking weird because the note is basically your dad explaining, hey, here's the night I had sex with your mom in this weird ritual. Like she draws like a pentagram on the bed and sets up everything and they're having weird, witch sex. And then he turns into a cat and that's the cat that jumps into the arms of the ancestor. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but I am very interested to see where the hell it goes.
Intriguing.
Yeah. So that demo is out now that you can check out and is the creator of Assassin's Creed. So there is definitely a feel of it. And I like to think that when he first did this, he probably was like, I'd love to set Assassin's Creed in like the Salem witch trial or like 1666. And they're like, no. And he says, well, I'm going to make my game anyway. Give me that. Take my Assassin's Creed. And there's broom combat from the trailer, which I'm very interested to see how just sweeping up the streets.
I feel like it's going to be like a wind thing.
Okay.
Like you sweep the broom, it creates like gusts of wind kind of stuff.
I think you're going to be hitting people with this broom. I think it's going to be like full on bow combat with a broom.
There's like witch characters in anime that I feel like I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like their combat, which is that kind of like wind generating force with the broom type stuff.
No, it looks very interesting. So I'll definitely be checking out that one.
And then the next one I think was Saw Genesis.
Hey, Saw by Sega. Not actually
by
Sega,
Sega.
But Genesis. Come on, that's what I was connecting to.
Oh, Saga.
Remember when Sega used to make consoles?
Saga Genesis.
Saga Genesis. Yeah. Anyway, Saw Genesis.
Your bits are spreading a lot of misinformation today.
That's my job. That's my bits. It doesn't matter. All that matters is this is Summer Game Fest and I'm not wearing pants.
It's true.
Yeah.
Saw Genesis by Bloober Team and another team whose name I did not write down and I feel bad
I might
about.
have. You keep talking and
I'll
look for it.
We were quite excited when we saw the announcement for Saw at the showcase, and then we were less excited and it was like a fun trailer. Tobin Bell was in it. It was like, oh, it's World War One or like post World War One, 1920s. And then it went 3v1 asymmetrical multiplayer. And
when you say went, it literally was a tiny piece of text just on the last screen, because you're watching this like World War One, people dying in combat and everything, and Industrial Revolution. Like, what is this really interesting take on it? And then it was like, oh, it's asymmetrical multiplayer. I don't have to make all horror asymmetrical multiplayer, but it was
seemingly they do.
I want to say
they keep trying.
Onshar Studios.
That sounds right. I know it was an A for sure.
And Broken Mirror Games, and Broken Mirror Games is Bloober's kind of separate branch, but they're co-developing. But it seems like Onshar is doing a lot more of the game itself developing, and they're kind of working to just guide, because Bloober is doing so much.
Bloober is doing a lot.
Other things that Bloober is doing, but my God, they are doing so much horror. But we finally then got to actually go in and see. They gave us a little presentation on it. The basic idea is that one person will control the judge, who's basically Jigsaw, and then there are 3 accused. And the judge's job is to separate the accused and put them into their own little saw traps.
Rehabilitation traps.
Rehabilitation. You're right.
But you're right. Like, it's a saw trap.
It's a saw trap.
It's a saw trap.
So he's setting up traps and then basically drugging them and taking them away. He also has an accomplice can help take them away, as things like that. And that separates them, because they all need to be together to get to the final kind of trap to survive that. And then they can all escape. The cool thing that I liked was they showed that when you're taken away and you're separated from everyone, it's not just a death sentence. You're not just on the hook, and if no one comes to get you, you're dead. You have the option in the rehabilitation trap, just like in Saw, to make a sacrifice and be able to continue. So you can cut off your fingers, you can lose an eye, and then that will affect your gameplay. Like, you can't open certain doors or hold melee weapons. And I don't know what the eye one does, but I imagine, this is my thought, is that it will just make half your screen black.
Or at least some of it. Because like my first thought was like, oh, is it going to be like a depth perception thing? But I don't know how you do that in an already
if it's not VR,
screen.
You're not going to know like, oh, my depth perception is the same as it was before.
Yeah. And the way it's set up, the win condition, if I understood it correctly, seems to be if you're the judge, you want the accused to not escape in a time limit. So everything you're doing to them, the rehabilitation traps, that kind of stuff, is making it harder for them to escape in time. Maybe if you put them in enough rehabilitation traps, they just outright die. So I'm assuming there's like some element of that. But obviously like those are not fundamentally killing them. Whereas if you're the accused, your win condition is either escape, like the judge is trying to stop you from, or kill the judge, which kind of points to one of the things that I do find very interesting about this game compared to most asymmetrical horror games or asymmetrical multiplayer games in general, is usually the 1 is stronger.
Correct.
And the 3 has the numbers.
An advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas this is much more of like the judge is weaker in direct combat, but their goal is not direct combat. Their goal is to lay the traps, to create machinations around the map. And there's a lot of spaces where the judge can walk around and move that the accused can't. So they're trying to like get down, place their traps, figure out their plans, and then get out before the accused can get to them.
It's all set in 1920s industrial London, which
it is.
I think the reason for that, and people are like, well, what this doesn't make sense. It seems like their lore is that this person did stuff, and then maybe Jigsaw found his notebooks and based some of his stuff on the judge.
Which is a really bold choice.
It is a very bold choice to be like, oh, he wasn't the original, he did this. But I will say in the trailer, I absolutely love the moment where person takes a severed finger, dips it in blood, and just like does the little spiral on the notebook.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is a book of Saw that I can get behind, unlike that other one. The thing, I feel that they picked the location and time period because of the aesthetic, that it definitely fits very well with that.
The post World War I also feels like a good time.
I mean, it's very traumatic, and a lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff from the war.
A lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff from the war, and also World War I specifically being like a meat grinder of a war more than any other war, really. And also being a war that many historians, I'm not going to say with like absolute certainty, I'm not like, I'm not a history major, but my understanding from the research I have done, because I've listened to like podcasts on World War I, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History?
I don't know, but now we're about to have Ben Bellevue's kind of history, which it might have been this. I don't know.
From my understanding from Hardcore History and like other history that I've learned just generally is like World War I is a war where there really is not a good side and a bad side. It is a war where there were a lot of alliances between nations, and one thing like caused, and like the globalization of the world was so uncommon at that point that they had not processed how much their globalization and alliances would just like set off a powder keg that couldn't really be stopped. So it was two sides at war with each other, kind of for no reason, except that they were. I imagine you have a lot you can do in terms of like the guilt and the atrocities committed by people from that war.
Yeah. And if it wasn't enough trauma there, let's put them all into a trap and see if they'll become better people.
Yeah.
Which also is a procedurally generated map. They pointed that out, that it seems like it's picking from a pool of different kinds of saw traps, and they're all placed in different locations. They're probably the map layout will change and everything like that. But I am a little wary. I hope that they haven't said anything about it, but I'm sure they'll address that. There should be different kinds of maps, hopefully. Right now, we just saw the one, and if it's just one that's kind of procedurally generated, it might get a little...
Yeah.
You know, it's with all asymmetrical horror, is if you don't have enough maps or content that it's coming out. You know, for me, it's customization. I love being able to really customize my character, get skins, get, you know, different things. And if I'm able to, you know, unlock that stuff, would be great. There is a little, it's not a Billy puppet, but it's like a lady Billy puppet.
It's like a lady Billy.
A lady Billy.
A lily.
A lily puppet.
It is another, like, quite, in my opinion, bold lore choice to be like, Billy the Puppet, not the original idea there, and Jigsaw, not the original idea there. They're both derived from something else.
It'd be bolder if they had it derived from Dead Silence.
I don't know what you're saying to me.
The ventriloquist movie that no one remembers. Billy's in there.
Oh,
He cameos in it.
Cool.
Because I can't remember if Juan directed that or just produced it, but he was involved with that.
At the same time, I am like, while this is a bold choice to do with the lore, and I'm curious to see how well they succeed in that and how well people take it.
Yeah.
Canon is not real. Like, you can take.
It is if you're on a pirate ship.
You've made this joke before, and
I'm gonna make it every day.
Canon in narrative is not like a real thing. You can kind of like, unless like this lore starts influencing future Saw movies, where like now you kind of have to process it. Like,
you sound like the person that turned all of the books that I loved into legends for Star Wars. You monster.
And they still exist, man.
But they're not canon.
They can be to you.
You're right. Dash Rendar is canon to me.
Yeah, there you go. Does anything in... I don't know anything about Dash Rendar. Does anything in the Disney Star Wars universe contradict the existence of Dash Rendar?
No, they reference him in Solo, but they don't have the full like story. Then we don't get Shadows of the Empire.
Sure, but like Shadows of the Empire exists.
Yeah, but they've reworked characters from Legends into the canon version of them.
Sure. All I'm saying is that canon is fake. And you can take things as you want. Like, you could
Saw is too early to tell fully what it is. Again, very dubious about the asymmetrical horror, as I am with any of them, because we've been burned so many times. I bought the special edition of Evil Dead. I bought Killer Clowns. I bought all these things, and I enjoyed them. But then there's only so much that's going to keep bringing you back to them.
And to your point about it being procedurally generated, I think that's my biggest concern, is because like essentially what they're building is an escape room style game, where for the accused especially, their objective is, you know, figure out how to get out of here. And an escape room is so fundamentally like a thing that is planned, that is clever, that has a lot going into it, and a lot of thought going into it. And the way that they've designed this game is the map is designed by a computer randomly, and then the way, like the judge has a lot of influence on like where traps are placed and this and that and this. So it's a lot of either randomized or fly by the seat of your pants in the moment from the judge. And maybe that will work, but I think, to me at least, my instinct would be like, I would much rather see a version of this game where you're just playing co-op with your friends as the accused through a truly designed set of spaces and puzzles.
That's a little more like Outlast Trials, honestly. Yeah, because no one's controlling the killer in that, and you just have to survive through the trials of what that is.
Yeah, I think maybe I just want this to be Outlast Trials.
I think that's what you want. Yeah, we still have Outlast Trials.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm not sold on it yet, but I do quite like the setting. I think it's very silly.
It is, and I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
So then we had play days, which is the actual, area where you have, kiosks of all the different games that you get to play. You have appointments. It's a very appointment-based system. When Ben and I went last year, we didn't have any
We got in at the
appointments.
last minute. So like the PR teams had already sent out all their emails, booked all their appointments. We showed up the last day too. We got there on, I think, Monday, because it's 3 days. We got there and we were like, do you have any walk-up appointments? And they're like, we've been booked for days. And
They all just laughed at us in our face in the nicest way possible, because they're all really nice.
The Blumhouse team did get me in to see Grave Seasons and Chrysal at the very end of last year, though, which was
yes,
cool.
there were a few that we snuck into. I did get to see Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah, our friends of the show snuck us in.
Piggybacked in there. But this year we had a lot of appointments set up. And one of the appointments that we went to, which I loved, which was my favorite of Saturday, was Don't Fret.
Don't Fret. I was really delighted by Don't Fret.
Oh my gosh.
Tell the people about Don't Fret, Zoran.
You are like a sentient, some kind of string instrument, and you're in a musical school, and you have to survive through a series of puzzles and musical things. You're being stalked by this amazing monster called Tapehead that is very much like the alien, the xenomorph from Alien Isolation, coming after you. And the style is very cartoonish, and I feel that it has a little bit of the Bendy and the Ink Machine kind of style, but a more color forward version. I love the style. It's approachable for like teens, but there's also like a horrifying nature to it. There's at one point a music teacher or something that is just like the ballerina girl from Cabin in the Woods. It's just like the whole face is just a mouth. And then suddenly that like jump scares you. And then you see this woman chained up and crying like she's in Hellraiser and anything. And then it's like, and back to your music puzzle now and do your thing. And it was done by this guy who he basically had a YouTube channel for...
He still does.
He still has a YouTube channel where he makes original music.
Original music, a lot of horror music. He still posts to that channel every 2 weeks, he said, even while working on this game. It's him, the original team, like the co-creators are him and his friend. I didn't write down their names.
It's Russell and Ryan. I'm sorry, I don't know your last names, but Russell and Ryan. We talked to them for so long.
We'll get an image up right now of his YouTube channel to give context. And if you're listening on podcast platforms, I will put in the description. But it is... then it started as the two of them. They're a 5-person team now, alongside like contractors that they bring in as needed.
But it's a core team of 5 that made this super polished, beautiful art
and they don't come
game.
from a game design. I mean, like they've hired people who come from a game design background, but like Russell and Ryan don't come from a game design background.
This game idea, basically, he pitched at a wedding. They were all hanging out at a wedding, and he acted out the opening scene that you see in there, where there's this angry father like pounding on a door, asking to see his son from his wife or anything like that. And that was like the impetus for the whole game, was just him saying this at a wedding, and his buddy's like, yeah, we should do this. And then they figured out game development, how to hire people, how to do any of this stuff. It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
And they released a demo like 2 hours after we played
the demo we
it.
played, I think.
The demo that we played is available now on Steam, so you can check it out yourself.
It's really cool.
It's
a mix of like BioShock elements.
That's what. Yes.
Yeah. It's
100%.
There's a lot of BioShock to it. There's a degree of like Alien Isolation to it too. With
from the tape head.
The tape head, who is like an AI that can pop in and out, follow you. We don't get like a true Alien Isolation-esque like hiding experience with her in the demo, but they do talk about like you will get that in the future.
And it was less frustrating than
it was
some of the deaths that we had in Isolation.
Yeah, because in this one we just had to run from her. She's not as fast as the alien. I was able to run from her. But yeah, it was really cool, artistically very beautiful. There's a music puzzle that we had to solve, or I had to solve, because you and I played like
we
halves.
split it, and I was just talking to Ryan, and then he had to do like a piano, like full playing notes on a piano.
And that was the thing that I found really interesting about this and I was like asking them about too, where I'm like, okay, you come from a music background, you're infusing a lot of music into this. You can find CDs of original music that you and like collaborators you've brought in.
I was just on that. I'm going to say they've got like 25 songs from people they've worked with on YouTube and just other artists that they love, just this original music. And you can listen to it in game. And I collected the CD and I wanted to listen to it. And you do within the safe room. They made a point of not allowing you to listen to it outside, because then people were just listening to this really cool pop punk music, and it ruined the atmosphere of the whole horror thing, which again, Russell, I believe, does a lot of the score as well.
They were saying
for it. And, I just he wears so many hats,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just a delightful person to talk to. I would love to just grab drinks with him.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
They were really cool.
But you were saying,
Yeah,
you can collect all these things. There's music related stuff.
There's music really. Yeah, it's not just like, oh, they love music and it's a music school setting, and it's not just, oh, we've added music into it. It's also like there's puzzles that are music based puzzles, which is a very hard balance, I think, for them to strike. Of, I don't come from a music background. I played trumpet in elementary school. It's been a while. There's a music puzzle I had to solve that is like, press the right keys, like essentially a pin code kind of thing, but it's with piano keys, and the key for it is the notes, but I don't know what those notes are, so I have to like look around to figure out.
But they added clues around the environment for people that aren't familiar with reading actual sheet music.
So you're having to figure out like coding, like it's a puzzle that is not inherently only solvable by knowing music. It's a puzzle that is solvable by normal puzzle means, but it also is kind of teaching you music in the course of doing it, where I'm like, oh, a high C.
Secret education game.
And it doesn't sound like you're necessarily going to walk out of this being like, I've learned music now, but it does.
Like Rocksmith.
It does give me a little bit of familiarity. Oh, I forgot about Rocksmith. But it does give me a little bit of familiarity with like music and reading sheet music than I had before, which is cool. And I quite like that. And the art style's beautiful.
Yeah, and they're aiming for around 6 to 10 hour kind of experience. They specifically did the no HUD kind of style. You instead just have like this little Game Boy stun gun or whatever that eventually can get powered enough to kill. I asked him specifically, will there be kills in this game? He says yes. And I said, good, I can kill count this game. Not saying I'm guaranteeing it, but I would love to, because
we don't guarantee
I would love
shit.
to talk about this even more. I think they're also aiming for an October 1st, 2026.
Did they say that?
Release date. And Russell has 2 kids. Sorry, he has 2 kids, and he does all of this and play tested himself and does. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of you, Russell. Good work.
They are still aiming for a teen audience or a teen rating, and I think that's probably where you're going to fall in terms of like age appropriateness too. Of like, yeah, some kids can play this, which I think is cool. I think it's cool to have horror that kids can engage with.
Oh no, you need the gateway horror. You need to get in there. I mean, that's what it's in a way. It's mascot horror.
Yeah.
In a way, it is that, but I think it's a very interesting take on it that I'm on board to see. I guess speaking of non-mascot horror and full-on not for teens, Hellraiser.
Yeah, we saw the Hellraiser
revival. Oh my God. We got to play a demo of this, and they just pop you right into it. This is basically a first-person shooter.
It's an FPS,
Yeah, I think that's why everyone is really going, gravitating towards Hellraiser, because it's not asymmetrical. It is a single-player story experience, and 100% that is what it is.
And you can really feel like the narrative hefty, but even just what we played, I'm like, this feels like a story game.
And you know that it's Hellraiser from the minute I'm in there. I have a Genesis configuration. It's not the Lament configuration. It's a different configuration. And you have like a shotgun in your other hand. And suddenly some woman in bondage with pasties over her nipples just comes out, and I blow her away with a shotgun and then light someone else on fire with a Genesis configuration. I'm like, I don't know the story and if I should have done that to these people, but holy crap.
And you're in this like BDSM club. The entire time. It feels very that was my biggest concern going into this game, is like from the trailers that are out publicly, seeing that it was FPS, seeing that you're not using the Lament configuration, you're using this other configuration that is kind of like a superpower thing. It reminds me a little bit of, again, BioShock, of like the gun hand and then the hand with power. I was nervous that it would feel like they've strayed too far from the feel and tone of what Hellraiser is. I don't have that concern as much coming out of it now. It is very, very sexual.
Very much so. And also mind-bending, too, because the second half of the demo is like an Exit 8 style loop. Like you're in
PT, very much so.
PT, I haven't played PT
I know,
yet, so.
I know. I'm
every time I'm like, I have loops. I know Exit 8. That's what I got.
It's just, it functions more akin to the PT loop, where it is like each loop is moving you forward to experience the next thing they want to show you, instead of it being like a puzzle for you to solve.
Yeah, but there's like things like you have to writing on the wall of what you need to be able to move forward to the next thing. So it has that surreal aspect of the dream kind of Hellraiser, what is real, what isn't. At one point we were briefly in hell, in the labyrinth. Yeah, sound design, the gameplay feels great. The gun feels really crunchy, bloody, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't run out of ammo, so I didn't have that fear. I don't know how it'll work with the actual thing. We did not see Pinhead or anything in our demo.
We did see Butterball. Which
We did see Butterball.
I was delighted by.
Oh my gosh. He's just
thrilled.
like appearing like in the loop area and just like little flash of lightning and then Butterball. Oh,
Butterball.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah. I don't think it had occurred to me how unsexy games are. Like games can sexualize women, especially oftentimes. That exists.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just actually engaging with like human sexuality, you don't really have that in games the way you have that in movies. So I did find it really interesting to be like, oh, like this feels like a side of human life that I just don't see in this medium that often.
Yeah. This whole BDSM club and, that's what, it's pain and pleasure and that's Pinheads and the Cenobites whole thing and, people seeking pleasure and being addicted to it. And it just feels very faithful to the movies. And I am so excited. And it's Madhead Games is the developer, and they are based out of Belgrade.
Yes,
they are.
Very
they
excited.
are Serbian. I was so excited because I was like, "Oh wait, you're Serbian team?" Like, yeah, and they're like, "Wait, are you Zoran?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're one of us." Hey, good to see you. So I was so excited that it's a Serbian developing team. They've done a fantastic job with it, and they're all huge Hellraiser fans, and they're just like, "Yeah, we didn't expect anyone to care about the trailer when we were doing this.
That's
we got
crazy.
The license and anything," and they're like, "Oh, people really want this now. Okay, well, we really got to deliver it." And they've worked with Clive Barker on a lot of this for approvals and things. And
I think it's officially labeled Clive Barker's Hellraiser revival.
He is definitely involved in the game. And I will say, outside of it, Saber's space I think was the best decorated.
It was
They had
very
a
cool.
Bar and they had like dinosaur skulls for Turok, which we'll actually talk briefly about in a second. And then they gave me an Infernal Pain drink.
They gave us both an Infernal Pain
we both
drink.
got, and shout out to Kenny the bartender.
I love Kenny the bartender. Kenny the bartender, if you hear this,
You were fantastic.
You're the
man.
best.
We got drinks and they put the drink in a little box and then lit wood chips so that there was smoke filling the box, then made you open it and just like have this smoky thing called Infernal Pain, and it was delicious. And I'm sitting there drinking this and playing Hellraiser. I'm like, this is a perfect
And
night.
there's like a Genesis configuration prop in between.
That's
It's like
like
4 stations are like
rotating and moving.
The setup is like there's 4 different stations you sit down and play at, so they're all facing each other like a D-pad kind of.
Yeah.
And then in the center was the Genesis configuration, and it was.
I feel like we were powering some kind of ritual or something like that.
I hope so.
Like the toy maker.
That's
was
how I
want to
go out
here
and like talking just about the gameplay a little bit more too. The Genesis configuration, we implement it in a few ways that are very fun. Combat wise, the first thing we do with it is being able to pull like fire or being able to pull like a blade from.
I pulled telekinetic blades that we would launch into someone and they would just embed and murder people.
Or
very
pull
fast.
fire and then launch that at people and then light them on fire, and like that ruled. I loved using that in combat.
It felt really powerful and really cool. So I'm excited to see what that story is.
And then we have the little puzzle with the telekinetic part of it too. It feels like it's a telekinesis like power, at least so far. Is like the Genesis configuration gives you telekinesis.
I'm on board for it.
I like it. Yeah,
I love it. I love it all. But then also it's Saber, who is the one publishing the Hellraiser game. They also did a Turok demo. Now Turok, not officially horror.
Doesn't feel like horror.
I will say they have the cerebral bore, which is Phantasm all the way. The little ball that you shoot out and it drills into people's heads and then sucks out all the blood. The loadouts are named like Cougar, Raven, and Bison.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know which any of these are. They're like, well, pick that one because there's the cerebral bore. I'm like, cerebral bore? Yes, 100%.
Like, you like horror.
Yes, I love horror. Take the cerebral bore, which I did.
Raven.
And I launched that and it was my favorite thing. This is a very fun co-op
I enjoyed it.
experience.
I will say, because we did 2 missions and I switched my loadouts because I was like, I want to like try different loadouts. The first loadout I had was Raven, which is a bow and arrow loadout. I loved that bow.
That bow is like an explosive bow.
Yeah, seemingly.
great.
Then I switched to a different loadout that was more like gun based. I was less of a fan of using the guns in that game. That
I had
didn't
a
feel
close proximity one that I was like,
Yeah.
this wasn't as good.
So I'm curious to see if I really enjoy Turok overall, or if I really enjoy Turok specifically when I'm using that bow. But
I think we had a good team. We had a Dash from Tech Radar who was on our team. That's also a great thing about just Game Fest. I met so many cool people that I had never interacted with before or had been like tangentially.
I got to introduce you to a lot of my friends.
Yes, I got to meet a lot of your friends, but then I also just met random people, including Jared, Yeager, who was a voice actor. We were talking about pinball in line to get food, and suddenly he's just talking about pinball with us, and then he's like, "Oh, I did like
machines,
voiceover and looping for Walking Dead. I worked with Alien game development and all this stuff and everything like that." I'm like, well, this guy's just really cool.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you ever need to talk about game development or anything, give me a call. I was like, everyone's there.
I think he's a USC professor too.
Yeah, he's also teaches game design and things like that. I was just so happy. And there was another girl, Lisa Wallen, who was a stand-up that did an hour-long special on YouTube in a game store. And she's like, I was really thinking that this was going to get me some more stand-up gigs. And then it just got noticed by like Fortnite and all these companies are like, oh, you did game jokes? Do stuff for us now. So she does all these like little game jokes and things. She does something for Fortnite too. So
pro tip, if you want to be a successful comedian, niche.
Also shout out to Margot Bastian, who worked with I Am 8-Bit and got me some amazing things that I will describe just very quickly because they're so cool. I Am 8-Bit has
very cool.
A Blue Shift Big Band joystick jazz. This is an LP that has jazz covers of famous themes from like Marble Zone from Sonic, or the DK Island Swing is one of my favorite songs now, and this is really fun. And then also got me a 40th anniversary of all of Rare's music. Thank you very much for that. I did not expect that in my swag bag.
That's crazy.
Check out I Am 8-Bit, and especially their Blue Shift Big Band. They have a series of them. It's great. Put it on in the background. People are like, wait, is this Ocarina of Time? I'm like, yeah. Secret nerd. But yeah,
you haven't seen Zoran's house. He's not a secret nerd.
No. I'm out and about nerd with my piranha plant
with your
slippers.
Spider-Man bathroom.
Yeah. All Spider-Man themed all the time, man. We did briefly see Phasmophobia.
The
1.0 release is coming, but I don't think we're allowed to talk
We're
about
not. It's embargoed for a little bit longer than this podcast is scheduled to come out.
Correct. So we can't say any specifics of it, but I will say that what they're doing for 1.0 is very interesting. That's going to make it a little more unique and definitely revamping things for fans of what has come out of Phasmophobia. Honestly, I've only played it briefly, but what they're doing with it, they're really pushing for this 1.0 release coming out for that. So Phasmophobia, can't talk much about it. And then we got to go to Blumhouse Games.
We did get
and
to
see a
Blumhouse
game
Games.
that Ben was super excited. I'm also excited about this too. But Ben, were you big into Stardew Valley?
I love Stardew Valley.
Okay, so the game is
Grave Seasons, which I did as I said, I got to play
year.
last year as well. And we were talking to Louise, the head of Blumhouse Games.
Yes, Louise is an amazing human.
She's very
sweet. Got in contact with her to actually get us Brian and Krista for Fear the Spotlight, and have become fast friends. And it's just a lovely, lovely human being. And I'm very happy that I now get to know this person, and she helped get us into Grave Seasons.
Yeah, doing that. We were talking to her before demoing it or after demoing, one of those. And I was saying like, demoing a game like this seems near impossible because I love Stardew Valley. I don't think if you gave me 20 minutes of Stardew Valley, you would convince me. Like it's such a broad, like time-consuming game that takes time to get into. And you can't really demo that effectively in 20 minutes, but they did their best. I'm really excited for it. The game it's a merger of horror and Stardew Valley and like farming sim generally, where you are on a farm taking care of a farm, but also this town you just moved into has a serial killer that is killing people. And who the serial killer is, that is randomized by playthrough.
You say serial killer, but they said supernatural killer.
It is a supernatural killer, but I do believe that they've been calling it a serial killer. Because technically speaking, even if you're supernatural, you are still a serial killer.
I guess Jason is a serial killer.
Yeah.
I just always think of him more of a supernatural killer or something.
Sure, that's interesting.
There are supernatural elements and like occult things happening.
That's interesting because I feel like I think of Jason as more of a serial killer than a supernatural
serial killer to me is like human.
Sure.
So
Jason's
I just
human.
think of Jeffrey Dahmer. That's a serial killer. And that my differentiation is
one
is real, one is not.
I understand your reasoning.
Yes.
It seems like there's multiple elements of like supernatural in this game. There was a tree that I found that had cherries on it. And
a cherry tree? Oh, George Washington, look out.
And I shook that cherry tree.
And what did it do? It screamed?
No, it dropped some cherries. And I went and I picked one up and it was a cherry. And I went and I picked a second one up and it was a cherry. and I went and I picked a third one up, and it was dried blood.
What?
Yeah, don't know why. And I checked my inventory, and it was not there. So seemingly that's just like a creepy little thing you can find.
Oh,
Maybe a
that's
clue
fucking
towards
cool.
something else. Yeah.
I did not know. In my demo, so we got to meet Emmett, who was the writer,
Narrative designer, and like one of the co-founders of the game.
of Perfect Garbage, who's the developer of this. And it basically is like, oh, you've got 20 minutes. This is the only demo also that they literally put a timer right down there.
And I
like,
respect that.
20 minutes, go. And I'm like, so I had the stress of that. And he's like, you can explore, you can do whatever you want. Or if you want, we can jump ahead and you can kind of see the murder and anything like that. So I did a little bit of exploring. I learned how to plant some seeds, talk to the mayor, who seemed very shady, and then jumped ahead 4 days. And so it is basically the entire game takes place over a year. So there is a time system to it.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it is 1 year, all 4 seasons. And you go through
Grave ones.
Through it. Yes. All the grave seasons. And I think they're aiming for like 15 to 20 hours per year, like playthrough.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, that can vary how much you're doing. You can skip around. You can do things. Went to the mayor's office because he says, meet me on Friday. I'm like, okay, we'll jump ahead. We go there, go to his office. He's dead. Very, very, very dead. Like just gore.
Bloody as hell.
Bloody as hell. And then you go around and you find clues. Delicious, delicious clues. And so that's the investigation part. And so then the next day, you enter what's called a mourning period where you get to talk to everyone in town and they tell you how they felt about the person. Then you start to be like, oh, maybe this person had something and da-da-da-da-da. And then the next day you can start investigating based off the clues that you found. So the more things you find, the more paths are available to you. So there are lots of different endings. I'm told there's over 300,000 words or lines of dialogue.
That makes
there's
sense.
an insane amount of
Yeah.
dialogue in this game, which I'm excited for, also terrified for when I stream it and have to read all of it because it is not voiced.
You're going to have to get like...
I'm going to need a team for this
yeah.
one. Yeah, if you think my voice is rough now, ooh, boy.
It's an interesting challenge. I was talking to Emmett.
Yes.
I was talking to Emmett about this, where I'm like, farming sims are so much about the relationships you build and like interacting with these characters. And the function of this horror game is characters will die, or characters can die at least. It sounds like from talking to Luis, you have the ability to potentially save characters. Like that is
you
someone
can like
your...
craft occult objects and things that will protect against the like wards and things that you can stop kills.
Yeah.
I don't think you can die yourself,
I would assume,
but the other people around you can.
because that's the fundamental risk of games like this. It's kind of like a stretched out Directive 8020 or like The Quarry or Until Dawn, where it's like when you lose a character, you lose that narrative thread.
Yeah.
And that is so counterintuitive to what a farming sim historically has been. So, and I'm not saying that to mean like this isn't going to work. It seems like they're very aware of that danger and are very like thoughtful about it.
They said that they don't ever want it to feel like a punishment. If a character dies, it then allows a new thing to open up. So you're not feeling like, okay, we just got to keep everybody alive to get the best ending or whatever. It's like, oh, if this person dies, suddenly this information is revealed that wouldn't have been revealed before in a way that it seems very natural. So they are putting so much care and time into it. Louise herself has said, sometimes you have games that you're just like, I don't know if this is going to work or anything like that. And this one is coming out exactly how she had hoped that
She
it was
seems
gonna be.
really excited
She's
for this
very
game.
excited
I'm really
about
excited
it.
for this game.
Yeah, a lot of love is being put into this thing. And it seems like it's be a pretty substantial game.
Yeah, and he was also saying, which I really like, and I didn't realize before when I've played the demo and like when I've just heard about it, is they're really tying the farming sim side of the game and the murder and the horror serial killer murder side of the game together, where it isn't a case of like, oh, like you're hanging out and doing the farming sim stuff in this town for the sake of a farming sim, and then you're doing the horror stuff, and those things kind of exist in their own little bubbles. The point of the game is you are farming to gather resources, to craft things, to fight back against or stop or like combat essentially what's happening in the town.
Yeah.
So it's all one gameplay loop, which I think is very smart.
And if you complete a year, you have the option to start a new year, and it will be a different supernatural killer.
Sick.
So there is a lot of replay built into this. So this one seems like it's going to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
For sure. And you can also treat it just like a farming sim and just grow things and sell them at the store or whatever you want.
Just let people
and
die.
ignore and let people die if you want the whole time, and just be like, that's not my
Not
problem.
my circus, not my monkeys.
I'm just gonna do my thing. So
I also think it's really interesting that you seemingly play as a like criminal. And
you're in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, you're some kind of criminal.
It's unclear on if my interpretation is if you're in an orange jumpsuit, you escaped from jail, which I find.
Yeah, they don't usually
delightful.
just let you out in the orange jumpsuit and say, all right, back to society with you.
Yeah. So I'm assuming we're escaped from jail. Hell yeah. Fuck the prison industrial complex.
You just turn this so political. We're just here to play games, man. We're just here to play games.
Everything is political.
I
We exist in a
know.
society.
And especially when Ben's around.
The act of not engaging in politics is still a political act. Anyway, so you're a criminal. You can you have a crowbar. You can break into people's homes and look for clues, which I really liked. That was a really unexpected for me and fun mechanical twist on the traditional, again, not to tie everything to Stardew Valley, but I'm gonna tie Stardew Valley is like the elephant in the room when you talk about any farming sim. I really like.
Can you farm elephants in that game?
Not yet, but you never know what they have planned.
I plant some circus peanuts. I grow myself an elephant. So I think that's all the games that we played.
We saw some things that were like horror adjacent. We saw the Godzilla.
Yeah, we did get to play the Destroy All Monsters Melee remake.
Yeah.
Which Ben and I fought each other. I was Godzilla 2000 at one point, and was it Orga? Michael Russel, my buddy who is such a huge Godzilla fan, will be so mad if I'm saying these names wrong and everything. But yeah, it's very fun. Like the mechanics are still there. Like it's definitely a fun party game.
It definitely feels like a fighting game. Like they have not really purposefully, they've not updated a lot of the mechanics.
And so that's
they keep it
the
same. So it feels a lot like playing a fighter from the 2000s.
Because this was a GameCube game originally. And
Xbox, I think.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, have you played this before? And I was like, I had a PS2. Specifically, I could
not do this thing. But Atari, they even said the thing that they want is to really do remasters, remakes, really just bring
collections,
these games, collections archival in a way to be like, add these things like their Mortal Kombat collection has all this behind the scenes stuff, interviews, videos, footage, all this stuff that it's a little historical in a lot of those ways. And
they made a joke when we got there. We're like, oh, you're horror guys, so you're here to see Barbie, right? Barbie looks sick.
Well, I guess you played Barbie Horse Adventure.
I did play Barbie Horse Adventure, not one of the ones in this collection.
It is,
but not the version. The one I played is later on.
There's multiple versions of Barbie's Horse Adventure.
It's like a PS2 Barbie's Horse Adventure. Boy. It might have had a different name.
Okay.
The way that this one works is there's an over game that is new that is like a decorating game.
Oh yeah,
like this like cute 16-bit decorating game with all furniture from the real Barbie history, like that has been purchasable, and then you unlock those by playing the collection of old games from Barbie history. And I'm like, that's a really cool way to like archive and honor these games. Like, that's what they're doing with Mortal Kombat. That's what they're doing with, like, they showed us the Toy Story games.
Toy Story is going to be super exciting for Phoenix. My God, he's obsessed with Buzz Lightyear. He says, "Toy, I'm Bond," just like Buzz Lightyear says it.
I was a Woody kid.
I was, but that was after puberty. Anyway, Thief: The Dark Project.
Yeah, you played that.
I did play
I watched
that one.
You play that.
And that one is from Night Dive Studios, and they have a horror cred in the way that they did the Thing remaster, which I still have not played. James played a little bit on stream. And Thief: The Dark Project, again, this is definitely would you say a remake or a remaster? Remaster is just like we're keeping the same engine and we're just upping some of the graphics and things.
Yeah, there's wonkiness in terms of the line of what is
because it's an older game for sure.
But remake typically means more of like we are, maybe taking assets and stuff and updating those, but like fundamentally we're kind of rebuilding this thing. Whereas a remaster is more of like, my understanding is a remake is more of we are functionally starting from scratch. Maybe we can port some things in here and there, but we're really using the old as the blueprint to build a new. Whereas the remaster is more of like taking the code of the old and then like processing that in some way into a nicer looking new thing.
So this definitely felt old in that way. I did enjoy using my blackjack to knock out guards who were drunk and everything. The nice thing about Thief is that it is definitely a Hitman style, do whatever you want. And it's one of the early stealth.
I liked the physics of it, that like when you close a door, if you're in the way.
Oh, if you're in the way of the door,
you
can't actually open the door. It's like, oh, shit. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I guess we're closing out with the non-horror stuff just briefly that we talked about. Shot One Fighter.
Shot One Fighter was cool. It's a little indie fighting game that's a roguelite. So like the overworld of it looks very Slay the Spire or Inscription if you've played either of those, where you have like branching paths and you choose where to start and you go, and you have like loot crates you can pull from there like to upgrade your stuff with each run. But instead of it being Inscription, where it's a card game, or it being Slay the Spire, where, well, that's also a card game.
That's also a card. I was
that's
like,
also a card game,
that's also a card game.
But I guess
like Hades.
Yeah, Hades. I was just using those as reference because it's more of the same like layout. I guess in a way, it's kind of like the opposite end. Like Slay the Spire is kind of the middle, where it's like this is a turn-based, but it is a side-scroll fighting game.
Yeah.
And then Inscription's pure card game, and then this is pure fighting game, like
It
Street
is, and
Fighter
then-
style 2D fighting game.
Exactly. And then you select new moves at the end, or decide to have sacrifices of like sacrifice your health so that you regenerate, certain things.
Or get the blessing of this thing.
Yeah. So then we got to talk to Sirio, the art director of the game, founder of Red Moon Workshop, and Icy was the woman that helped us at first. And I was
great.
like, wow, I've never met anyone named Icy before. Awesome name. And Sirio was just talking about that he's also a huge horror fan. And we were talking about our favorite Hellraisers, and he likes Hellraiser 3 just like I do.
Hellraiser 3 is fun.
Can't be fun.
Yeah. It's probably my second favorite.
He doesn't want to gatekeep development. He wants to let anyone be able to develop. There's so many creative people. He hires out of Discord and things, and just like, these are people creating this thing. And he says he wants this to get messed up towards the end. He doesn't know if this is officially, again, this is not an official thing, but we were just talking about it'd be great if it got even more and more messed up towards the next, towards the end of it.
But it sounds like
cool.
it sounds like it's early enough in like that planning stage where that is, like any creative, you have your idea of what you want to maybe do, and then you might get towards it and be like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So whether that is what it becomes, but it is a cool game. I enjoyed that.
So Shot One Fighter, I'm keeping an eye on as well.
We saw Out of Words when we played End of Abyss over at the Epic Space. They also had Out of Words, which rules.
That is stop motion. Now, whereas Midnight Walk was designed from actual objects and things and then scanned into the computer and made to look stop motion, this, I believe, is actually full stop motion.
I assume that they scanned things in for the actual gameplay
yes, but I'm
parts.
saying like they show the digital like hands, people, all the cutscenes and stuff. They're actually
there's very seamless cutscenes, but those cutscenes are genuine stop motion.
Stop motion animation. Absolutely insane. Beautiful. You have no mouth. It's a 2-player co-op experience. At first, I was a little underwhelmed because it just seemed like a push right on the joystick simulator because we were running.
Yeah, we were in it's seemingly the beginning of the game. So it's like it makes sense that we are just getting the feel for it, but also for the sake of a demo, I was like, this is what you're showing me. What I don't understand what the mechanic of this game is yet. And then we got to the mechanic of this game.
The little, I don't know what to describe it. It's like a manta ray little thing.
They gave it a name for it, and I forget what it is.
Yeah, this really cute thing that hovers next to you.
Yeah.
And at one point, eventually, one person's walking along the ceiling, the other person's walking along the ground, and you can swap this manta ray, and then you would swap positions. So the other person would go on the ceiling, and the person on the ground.
Like gravity shift.
Yeah, gravity shift. And you'd have to use this to make it over large gaps and other puzzles and figure out how you need to go from one to the other.
So
and
there's
that
things
right
where like
there,
you needed to drop and then drop in the right angle that you were now underneath the thing you needed to be on. And then I had to shoot it down to you, and I had to make sure that I didn't then fly off the map. Like there was moments where we just kept passing it back and forth to each other so that we kind of
just hovered in like this little like helix wobbling thing, and then the title like came up on the screen.
Cool.
I was like,
it was
this
really
is
cool. I really enjoyed
so
that.
That's going to be a really fun co-op game.
Very up my alley.
Very cool on that one. And then I played Recur, which is from a German developer named Kaleidoscope. It's an 8-person team from Germany. I got to talk to the one of the people who worked on it, Elias, for a while. And this is a game where you play a postman and the apocalypse is happening, and if you move to the right on screen,
I feel like
one direction, time goes forward, one goes
sense.
back. So from there, you have to use these puzzles of just like, okay, I'm going to move this way, and this car is crashing and blocking my way. Let me go back, rewind time. And suddenly I go, oh, let me close this thing so that these big spools don't come in and crash the truck. And then the truck moves on, and now the way is open and things like that. So you're manipulating time. It's a very fun, beautiful style. Reminded me of Spider-Verse in some ways, especially where there's a big explosion. But they all come from a VFX background, and they just wanted to see if they could figure out how to make this really cool mechanic work. And he says they have like hundreds of puzzles that they were testing, and they'd be like, here's a fun idea. Let's see if this works. Nope, that does not work at all. All right, let's try again. And yeah, just thinking, fourth dimensionally to figure out how to solve a puzzle. It's really good. And they said that there's a story that they built into it as well, too. So Recur is one to keep an eye on as well.
Is there anything that you wanted to play that you didn't get to?
Well, I know Capcom was showing some bit of Resident Evil, but you couldn't actually play it. So
it sounds like it wasn't.
Yeah. Lost Wild.
Yeah.
Lost Wild, I wish I'd been able to see. That was... we also didn't get to see Silent Hill Townfall. No. Which, we just couldn't get an appointment to that one. But Lost Wild was very interesting. That car crash, and suddenly there's dinosaurs in a Jurassic land, as we dubbed it in our Damage Report live stream when we were talking about the news of it. But from what I hear, that there's some good dinosaur gore in it. And I want to see a nice survival horror thing until Jurassic Park Survival actually comes out, which there was nothing shown at this place. I want dinosaurs. I want them to eat because I want to play I want Dino Crisis. That's what I want. I want my Dino Crisis remake. Don't stop making Resident Evil. Also make Dino Crisis remake in addition to all the Resident Evil remakes.
Is Dino Crisis Capcom?
Yeah.
Okay. They're on a roll right now.
Oh, yeah.
I could see them doing it.
It's Jennifer Hale is the voice. Femshep.
Yeah.
Femshep is the voice of Regina.
And you didn't get to play Galactic Racer?
Yes, Star Wars Galactic Racer.
Yeah.
I really wanted to
really wanted to play that.
But it looks so good.
Looks beautiful.
It's at this point, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I feel these graphics are better than the movie in 1999 that I actually get to
I can see that.
play.
I mean, I don't know. The pod racing looks pretty good in 1999.
That's fair.
It's the other CG that aged badly.
It's the Jabba the Hutt that didn't look that great.
Oh, is that what you picture first? The first thing I picture when I think of bad CG for Phantom Menace is like the Green Hills and the end fight when they have like the tanks and the Green Hills look like shit. And then they have like the blue balls.
Oh, getting your graphical blue balls.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I think that's our main things that we saw at Summer Game Fest there.
I wanted to play Control Resonant, didn't get to do that one.
Yeah.
I've heard been fun. It seems like that and Hellraiser were a lot of people's games of the show. Alien Isolation 2
was a lot of people
one.
were really excited about that demo. They're like, oh, it's real good. It's real good. It's real. Thank you to everyone at Summer Game Fest that got us situated and set up with all of that. Yeah. All the people that set up our appointments.
And all the PR teams that are working so hard this weekend.
Yes. And all the emails. We're sorry. We've gotten so many emails. They were like, we're sorry we're not responding immediately, but thank you for everything. And hopefully we've gotten some of the footage and thing to sprinkle throughout this episode a little bit so you can kind of see it. So we will return next
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks. Next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks. Gina will be back. Do we know what episode we're doing?
I mean, technically we do. I don't see a need to say it and lock us into that in this moment.
Well, don't we at the end of the episode want to say like what people have to look forward to next time?
I've listened to plenty of podcasts that do not tease their next podcast.
Yeah, but I want to be better than other podcasts.
Okay, tease our next podcast, Zoran.
All right.
And if it fails, it's on your ass.
All right. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be talking glorious horror dating sims with Addison Peacock, writer for Dead Meat.
Yeah.
And an expert on dating sims, apparently.
And horror.
So we're going to be doing horror dating sims.
There's a lot of them. She's going to guide you and Gina through the world of it and our audience through the world of it.
But we did just play, Addison and I did just play Hooked on You, the Dead by Daylight dating sim, and had a blast doing that one. It was also very nice to have someone else doing voices alongside me so I didn't have to do them all the whole time. But yeah, that's another episode for us. So let's go ahead and I'm going to give you this key, sir.
Oh.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you remember?
I didn't realize I got to keep one.
Oh no, you don't get to keep it. Guests get to keep the keys.
I thought you were saying I was a guest.
You're part of this.
That's what I thought.
You're part of this thing.
I was thrown off.
Just because you don't have a red curtain behind you doesn't mean that you aren't part of this. So let's work through Zoran's key TSD by getting rid of another key.
You really like this bit, don't you?
I like bits.
He does.
And another episode has been unlocked.
I feel dirty being a part of that.